Night of the WEREPOODLE, written by Erin, Audley. Spooky noises, eerie, strangely electronic music, a woman's scream. Carnival montage, day. A young couple, Peter and Fiona, in a roller coaster plunging down a vertical drop. Fiona screams in excitement. Peter is trying to scream. Fiona feeding Peter cotton candy. The distorted reflections of Fiona and Peter walking through a mirror house. Fiona laughs as she rams a bumper car into Peter. Exterior carnival midway. Strength tester game, day. Peter and Fiona watch the strength tester Carny attempt to draw a crowd.
Step right up, test your strength, win a prize for your best gal.
Peter steps up to the strength tester Carny and hands him a bill.
Watch how it's done.
Thwack! The chaser barely moves.
Are you a man, son, or are you a boy?
Fiona is amused. Thwack! The chaser barely moves.
My turn.
Thwack! The chaser hits the bell. Ding ding!
So, do you want the pink poodle or the blue kitty cat?
Exterior, wooded neighborhood, sorority row. Residential street lined with Victorian-style homes, signs on lawns in large Greek letters. Attached to lampposts, we see flyers promoting parties and events. One flyer stands out. There's a picture of a large poodle and the words, "Beware, vicious dog, do not approach." Exterior, sorority house porch, dusk. Peter and Fiona stand on the front porch of a Victorian-style home surrounded by forest.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you for getting me home before dark.
That's what I'm here for. Good times before dark. You know, it is still early. I could come in, if you want. It is spring break, and you've got that big old house all to yourself. I could keep you company.
I would love that, really love that, but I can't. Midterms literally killed me. I have to study.
Okay, then why don't you study, and I can make you dinner? It'll be fun, and we can spend some more time together.
I don't know. I mean, that sounds so nice, but with everyone gone, the fridge is pretty empty. I don't think we have anything other than ranch dressing and Oreos in the entire house. I'm honestly just going to order a pizza and hang out with my textbook.
It's decided. I'll go pick up some groceries, head straight into the kitchen. You study. When I'm done, we can eat, and after dinner, I can help you review. Pizza is not brain food.
I'm not going to win, am I? Well, it would be nice to not be alone, as long as you make sure it's not too much work. And I do need to study tonight, so no funny business. Well, maybe a little funny business.
Exterior, sorority house driveway, night. Poodle POV, watching from the trees. A car drives up to the house before parking. Peter exits the driver's side and walks around to the trunk. Peter freezes as in the distance we hear a prolonged, mournful cry. Ow! Peter struggles to load his arms with multiple heavy grocery bags. We hear a quiet growling. Peter fumbles to close the car trunk and drops some tomatoes from one of his bags. The growling gets louder. Peter puts the grocery bags on top of the car trunk and bends over to pick up the dropped vegetables. We move quickly and shakily towards Peter. Third-person POV, in a blur of fur and fangs, a rabid beast lunges at Peter from the trees, attacking his arm. Peter jumps upward at the bite and smashes his face against the car trunk.
Jesus, fuck, ow!
The movement is fast. We see fangs, a bloody snout, claws, squished tomatoes.
God damn it!
Peter's screams mix with the snarls of the beast as he grapples with it. The beast lets out a loud yelp as Peter finally breaks free from its jaws. Peter sits on the ground in the driveway. We briefly see the beast, a demonic yet well-groomed poodle, as it bolts to the left and out of frame. Interior, sorority house, front door, continuous. A large wooden door. From the other side of the door, we hear a rapid, irregular knocking, which grows louder with each knock.
I'm coming, just a minute.
Fiona opens the door to reveal a disheveled and bloody Peter struggling with numerous grocery bags.
Oh my God, Peter! I was getting worried.
Peter enters the doorway, dropping all the groceries. Packages and produce spill everywhere. Peter immediately slams and locks the door. Peter, followed by Fiona, walks briskly to the Interior sorority house bathroom continuous.
What happened? Peter, what's wrong?
It was the strangest thing. I was attacked by some kind of dog.
You were attacked by a dog?
It bit me.
It bit you?
Peter holds out his arm to Fiona.
That doesn't make sense. There was so much blood.
It's just a scratch. Maybe it didn't bite you as hard as you thought.
What was once a deep and bloody wound is now an angry red scratch. We see the scratch continue to fade.
No, the damn dog was playing tug-of-war with my arm. My blood's all over your driveway.
Well, there's no blood here. If this is supposed to be some kind of joke, I don't think it's very funny. But let's not ruin the entire night. Someone promised me dinner, so I guess you should get cooking, mister. And I need to get back to studying.
Interior sorority house kitchen a little while later. On the stovetop, pots bubble away. Peter stands at the counter chopping vegetables. We see Peter's hands. His fingernails grow slightly longer, taking on a more claw-like shape. Peter sniffs the air. Peter leans down and walks along the lower kitchen cupboards, following a scent. He stops. He opens up a cupboard and pulls out the garbage, spilling it onto the floor. Peter begins stuffing old food scraps into his mouth, relishing the flavor. Something grabs Peter's attention, and he begins sniffing again. Unbeknownst to Peter, he has a large piece of chicken skin stuck to his cheek. With each movement he makes, the chicken skin flaps against his cheek. Peter walks, bent over along the cupboards, following a new scent. He follows the scent along the cupboards. Peter stands straight and lifts his leg, resting it on the counter. We see a yellow-tinged puddle forming at Peter's feet. Fiona enters the kitchen. Peter doesn't notice her.
Are you all right?
Yep, never better.
Then why is your foot on the counter?
My foot. I was stretching. Yeah, I was stretching. Can't be too limber.
Okay, I feel kind of bad, you doing all this work. Do you want some help? I tossed a mean salad.
Fiona begins to walk around the kitchen counter towards Peter.
Nope, all good.
Peter quickly turns away from Fiona and presses himself against the counter. Fiona is now standing directly beside him.
Can I get in there?
In where?
The cupboard.
What cupboard?
The one you're standing in front of?
That cupboard. Duh.
Peter swipes the first thing he sees off the counter, a teapot, and holds it in front of his crotch.
What are you doing?
Making dinner?
With a teapot?
Yes. It's an old family trick. You steam your vegetables in a teapot, and it makes them taste like tea.
That sounds interesting.
Fiona turns to leave, but stops suddenly.
I almost forgot why I came in here in the first place. The maths are killing me, so I was thinking wine break.
Fiona reaches into the cupboard to grab a wine glass.
You remembered to bring wine, didn't you?
Yes. There's a bottle of red somewhere and some white in the fridge.
White, please.
Still holding the teapot to his crotch, Peter crosses the kitchen to the fridge and grabs the bottle of wine. He thrusts the bottle at Fiona.
Thanks. You've, got a little something on your face.
Peter swipes at his face, examines the chicken skin from earlier before popping it into his mouth and eating it.
Did I get it all?
You got it. You seem a bit different. Are you sure you're okay?
Yep, right as rain.
Okay, then. I guess I'll just take my wine and leave you to it. Do you mind tidying up a little while you work? It's kind of a mess in here.
Fiona turns around to leave. Peter bends down and begins to sniff her bottom. His nose is centimeters from her bum.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Not a thing.
You're so strange.
Interior sorority house kitchen a little while later. Peter is at the stove stirring a pot. Through an open window we hear meow, meow, meow. Peter runs to the window. A tipsy Fiona enters the kitchen.
Were you barking?
Oh, Fiona, hi. Me barking? No, there was a cat outside and a dog barking. I opened the window for some air, and that's where the noises came from.
Okay.
Peter turns directly to the window.
Squirrel!
Peter emits a low growl.
What?
I thought I saw a squirrel.
A squirrel.
Fiona crosses the kitchen to Peter. She leans into Peter and inhales his scent.
Given there is a menagerie outside trying to distract us, perhaps we should close the window? A little privacy would be pleasurable.
Fiona leans towards the window and closes it. She kisses Peter.
That tickles.
What tickles?
5 o'clock shadow.
Good tickles or bad tickles?
Definitely good.
Fiona and Peter continue to kiss. Beep, 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 beep.
Hold that thought.
You know, someone once told me the second sexiest thing a man can do is cook dinner. And I think I'm beginning to understand what they meant.
Is that so?
We see Peter's face. He's smiling. We see his facial hair growing. His cuspids are noticeably elongated.
Well, yeah.
Peter takes a roast out of the oven and moves it to a butcher's block for carving. Peter picks up the carving knife and fork and begins to slice the meat.
Well, if cooking dinner is only number 2, what's number 1?
We see the roast being carved. Pink, meaty flesh, lots of blood oozing onto the butcher's block.
Making breakfast.
Fiona has closed the distance between the two of them and is now pressed against Peter's back with her arms wrapped around his waist. Her hands are drifting towards Peter's belt.
I've been thinking about what you said earlier. We do have this big old house all to ourselves.
We see the carving knife. First, Peter's fang-like teeth are reflected, then his eyes, now an unsettling deep carmine color. Fiona begins to unbuckle Peter's belt. Peter drops the knife and slips out of Fiona's arms. Facing away from Fiona, Peter searches his face with his hands.
Whoa, it's okay. You don't need to be shy with me.
Peter grabs a toaster and examines his face.
I won't bite, unless you're into that sort of thing.
We see Peter's face reflected on the toaster. His eyes are a blood-red color. Using a finger, Peter raises a lip to examine his fang-like teeth. Peter's knuckles are covered in a fine brown fur. Peter drops the toaster.
Peter?
Yeah?
You're stressed. Why don't I help you relax?
Peter backs into Fiona. He's startled, but recovers quickly. Peter is looking away from Fiona so she can't see his face. Fiona is again trying to unbuckle Peter's belt.
Oh, no, it's okay. You don't have to do that. I'm fine. I just need to go to the bathroom.
Peter scrambles out of the room to a hallway and into interior sorority house bathroom continuous. Slam! Peter closes and locks the door. Peter's face is a mask of excruciating pain. His body starts to spasm and jerk. He crumples in agony. Before our eyes, thick curly fur grows over his skin and his ears begin to flop over and droop. Throughout the transformation, Peter wails in pain.
Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh!
Through an open window, we see the moon, a large luminescent orb hanging against the deep sapphire of the night sky.
Oh!
The transformation is complete. Peter stands gripping the sink. His face is reflected in the mirror. A curly, sienna-colored fur covers his skin. His ears droop to his chin. Fanged teeth poke out of his lips. His eyes have transformed to a glowing crimson color. There's a knock at the bathroom door.
Babe, come out of the bathroom.
We see Peter's hands gripping the sink. The porcelain begins to crack under his grip.
Okay, just a minute.
Peter searches the bathroom, opening the mirror cabinet. He grabs a lady's razor and a can of shave cream.
So, I'm not sure how many girls you've been with, but if you're worried about finishing early, it's okay. It's actually kind of flattering that you would get that excited, and we barely even touched. I mean, it's embarrassing, but you're like really nice. Not like the other guys I've dated.
That's what?
Peter drops the razor and shave cream and turns on the tap. Through the bathroom window, we hear, meow.
So, with that out of the way, maybe we could open that second bottle of wine, put on a little music.
Peter climbs out the window and onto the exterior sorority house roof night. He cautiously makes his way to a tree near the edge of the roof. We see a cat in the tree. The cat hisses at Peter. Peter lunges at the cat.
Ruff, 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 ruff.
Peter snarls as he and the cat fall out of the tree and onto the exterior sorority house lawn, night. The cat howls. Peter chases the cat into the trees that surround the house. Jump to interior sorority house front door. The front door creeps open. We see Fiona's silhouette from behind.
Peter?
Jump to exterior woods surrounding sorority house continuous. The moonlight filters through the trees, leaving everything in heavy shadows. We see Peter sprinting through the trees.
Ruff, 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 ruff.
We see the cat dashing through the trees. We see Peter hot on its trail. Exterior sorority house continuous. The cat breaks through the tree line, followed closely by Peter. The cat sprints to the sorority house and through the open door. We hear the cat yowl and see it exit back out the door and off screen. Interior sorority house front door. Peter bounds through the open doorway. Peter stops suddenly at the archway leading to the dining room. Peter slowly walks into the dining room, sniffing. Interior sorority house dining room. The dining room is set for a romantic dinner. We see Fiona sitting at the table, fully transformed into a werepoodle.
Surprise?